For 11 months of the year, the cabins and pavilions of the Neshoba County Fairgrounds sit empty, quietly waiting for the hottest days of summer to roll around. When the gates are unlocked, families whose names can be traced back to the horse and buggy era begin to trickle in, stocking their refrigerators with food and sprucing up the dusty porches and sidewalks. For 1 week every July, this usually deserted corner of Neshoba County roars to life, drawing in thousands of old-timers, teenagers, politicians, and harness racers. The cabins are filled to overflowing with extended families and their guests, and the entertainment, gossip, and camaraderie roll on from way before sunrise to deep into the night. The Neshoba County Fair fulfills its role as Mississippi's giant house party year after year. The roots of today's mega event stretch back to the 1800s. A loose organization of farmers and progressives offered the hope of enlightenment and political power for farm families, and it enjoyed a healthy following in Mississippi. In the summer of 1889, a group of Grangers in Neshoba County decided to hold a low-key fair in the Coldwater community. It was to just last a few hours with no admission fee, but it drew in several hundred interested patrons. Plans were laid for a bigger and better event the following year. The 1890 event eclipsed the previous year's fair in attendance and excitement, and by 1891 it had expanded into 2 full days of horse racing, agricultural events, and entertainment. Not wanting to miss any of the action, families began throwing together small wooden shacks for overnight stays. These tiny cabins enclosed a dusty central square, where the more long-winded speakers naturally gravitated when they felt the need to be heard. Realizing that they were onto something, 9 men incorporated the Stock and Agricultural Fair Association and began selling shares to raise capital. By 1892, a nominal gate fee of 25 cents was put in place. The charge didn't slow down the crowds who were already beginning to plan their entire summer around the event. By 1911, the fair was a firmly entrenched event which pulled in families from all over the state. The original makeshift cabins gave way to more substantial and spacious accommodations, some with 2 stories and deep front porches. Children counted the days until fair time and remembered the anticipation in their later years. Each year, the cabins were spruced up and the fair became a bigger and bigger party and a bigger event. It stretched into a full week. 30,000 people crowded into the racetrack grandstands to see the Reagans, who were obviously having the time of their lives. Reagan turned on the charm. I think all of you know without saying it that Nancy and I have never seen anything like this. There isn't anything like this place on earth. The Neshoba County Fair, from its humble one-day county exhibit origins, had grown into a cultural phenomenon in the state of Mississippi. Each year, the crowds grew larger and more cabins were built on the dirt lanes, which radiated around the square. Friendly gamblers hung out on the racetrack fences to watch the harness racers fly by, and concerts from entertainers from Patsy Cline to the Spunk Monkeys were preceded by the traditional lawn chair stampede. The fair has opened its gates every year since that hot summer in 1889, with the exception of the war years from 1942 to 1946. By 1986, all but 2 of the original cabins were gone, replaced by more comfortable but still rustic houses. But Founder Square remains, and the tradition of hospitality, good food, and good company endures.